All right, so now we're going to look at logical assignment operators. And in the last video, we looked at logical operators like and or, but we also have assignment operators which look like this. So we have the or equals, the and equals, and then we also have something called the nullish coalescing operator. Now, some of these might not make a lot of sense to you right now because you can't really understand where you'd use them. I think that the or assignment operator is the most useful here. So basically, the long version of this, I'll just do an if statement here, and let's define let a, and we're going to set that to any falsy value. So we'll just set it to false. All right, and then in here, I'm going to say if not a, meaning if it is a falsy value, right, because we're saying not, then let's set a to whatever, let's say 20, or let's say 10. Okay, so this can be useful because you want to check to see if a variable is false or null or anything falsy, and if it is, then you want to set that to a specific value. So the shorthand way of doing this using just the or operator, like we did in the last video, we could say a equals and then a or 10. So what we're saying here is just the same thing we're doing here. If a is falsy, then set the right hand side. So as you can see, it says assigns the right side value, which is this, only if the left is a falsy value, which right now is set to false. All right, so if I comment this out and I run the if statement, well, we need to log it, you'll see we get 10. If I comment this out and then I run this, it does the same thing. We get 10. Well, there's a shorter way of doing this using the assignment operator. So instead of doing that, I can just simply say a and then or equals and then 10. If I comment this out, we get the same thing. All right, if I set this a to null, it's gonna get set to 10. If I set it to 0, 10. So anything falsy. If I set a to 20, then it's going to stay at 20. This isn't going to set it because it's not a falsy value. All right, so that can be pretty useful. Now with the and assign operator, it will assign the right side value only if the left is a truthy value. So you probably wouldn't use this one as much. But let me give you the long version of what we're doing. So we'll set a variable here, let's say let b, and we'll set that to 20, and we're going to say if b, so if it's truthy, then we're going to set b to something else. Let's say, well, you know what we'll do is we'll set this one to 10. All right, and then let's console log b, and it's going to get set to 20 because b is truthy. Again, this will assign the right side value only if the left is truthy. So using a logical operator, we would do b equals b, and then the and operator, and then 20. Okay, so if I save that, we get 20. This is the same as this. And then to make it even shorter, we could use the assignment operator. So we could say b double ampersand equals 20. Okay, same thing. But again, this probably isn't, you're not going to use this as much as this because this makes more sense, right? You're checking to see if it's falsy, then you're setting it. Here, you're checking to see if it's truthy, and then you're setting it. And there are cases where you could use that. Now, this right here, the double question mark equal, this is the nullish coalescing operator. So this will assign the right side value only if the left is null or undefined. With the or, it's if the left is falsy at all. So 0, an empty string, null, undefined, false. So it's checking for falsy. This will only check for null or undefined, which you might want. You know, you might not want to check for 0 or an empty string or whatever. So the long version of this would be if, let's set another variable here called c. So we'll say let c equals, and we'll set it to null. And then we're going to say if c is equal to null or c is equal to undefined, then we want to set C to whatever, we'll say 20. Okay, and if we come down here and we console log C, we're going to get 20 because C is null. If we set C to undefined, it's going to be 20. If we set C to false, which is a falsy value, but it's not null or undefined, then it's going to stay false. Okay, and then the shorter version for that would be C equals, and then we want to say C, and then the nullish coalescing operator, and then whatever, 20. So that's still false. If I change this to null, then that's going to change to 20. And then the shorter version of that would be to use the assignment operator like that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And it'll probably be a while before you use something like this in an actual project. But we're going over, logic and control and conditionals, so in different operators. So I wanted to include logical operators as well as these logical assignment operators.